All right, welcome. This explainer is for all of you on the front lines, the boiler engineers, operators, and maintainers who keep our systems up and running. Today, we're diving into a big one, a challenge that's as persistent as it is costly: steam boiler corrosion.
Okay, let's just jump right into the deep end. This picture? It says it all. This isn't some minor issue you can file away. No, this is what happens when a small water problem is left to fester. We're talking catastrophic tube failures. Make no mistake, corrosion is an aggressive, direct threat to the safety and the very integrity of your whole steam system.
And believe me, this isn't just a headache for the maintenance crew. We're talking about billions, with a B, billions of dollars lost every single year. Think about it. Downtime, those frantic emergency repairs, all that lost efficiency. That's a number that makes everyone sit up and listen, from the folks in the boiler room all the way up to the boardroom.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to tackle this like a battle plan. First, we'll size up the threat. Then, we'll get to know the enemies lurking in your water. After that, we'll build up your arsenal. And finally, we'll walk through the operator's playbook for keeping everything in check.
So let's get into it. Section 1, the threat. It's easy to think of corrosion as just a bit of rust, but it is so much more than that. Let's really break down what's at stake.
You see, the effects of corrosion just cascade through your whole operation. It starts small, right? A little drop in efficiency, maybe you're burning more fuel, but then it gets worse. You get hit with that expensive, unplanned downtime, and nobody wants that. It builds up damaging scale and deposits, which is like adding fuel to the fire. And the end game? Well, the end game can be a catastrophic system failure. And that's a serious risk to both your equipment and your people.
Okay, on to Section 2. You know the saying, know your enemy? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do now. We need to understand the chemistry of the attack to get to know the culprits that are working against you from the inside.
So you know this better than anyone. In a boiler room, you've got two things that are always together: water and steel. Seems simple enough. But then you introduce our number one enemy, dissolved oxygen. And that little molecule acts like a super catalyst, just hitting the accelerator on corrosion.
So what's actually happening on a chemical level? Well, this breaks it down pretty nicely. The best way to think about it is like a tiny, invisible battery forming on the surface of your steel. The iron literally gives itself up. It sacrifices its electrons to the oxygen. And that kicks off this whole destructive chain reaction that just chews away at your metal.
And here is what that looks like in the real world. This isn't just some surface rust that you can wire brush off. No, this is oxygen pitting. It's like a drill, boring straight into the metal. You can even see the difference here. The active pits have that dark black oxide, while the inactive ones have turned into that reddish rust we all know. But the key thing here is that this kind of localized attack, man, it can lead to a failure, and fast.
All right, let's talk about our next culprit, and this one is sneaky. We're talking about caustic embrittlement. It doesn't just chew on the surface. This one goes deeper. It attacks the very bones of the steel.
So here's the kicker. It's not just about chemistry. This is a tag team effort with physics. You need two things to happen. You need high stress. Think about where your tubes are rolled into a sheet or a drum. And you need high concentrations of sodium hydroxide. When those two things come together, bam, you've got the perfect storm for this really nasty intercrystalline cracking.
And take a look at this. This is what it can look like out in the field. See that alligator hide texture? That's some seriously hard scale. Now, that's bad enough for your efficiency, for sure. But the real danger is that it creates these little hideouts, these perfect pockets where corrosive chemicals can concentrate and just go to town on the tube metal underneath. That's what we call under-deposit corrosion. And for our final threat, this one's almost like a ghost in the machine: carbonic acid. The tricky thing about it is that it's a natural byproduct of the whole steam process. So it's not an outside invader. It's something your system creates on its own, making it a constant nagging challenge, especially in your condensate system.
So how does this happen? It's pretty straightforward, really. You've got carbonates in your feed water. When that water gets hot, it releases carbon dioxide, or CO2, which travels along with the steam. Then when the steam cools down and turns back into condensate, that CO2 dissolves right back into the water. And what do you get? Carbonic acid. And this stuff is super corrosive to your pipes. You can easily check for it, though. Just test the pH of your condensate. If you see a reading of 7.0 or lower, that's a big red flag.
Okay, so understanding the enemy is always the first step. And if you're finding this breakdown helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button and drop a comment below. It really helps us make more content just like this. Now,
Let's talk about how this all builds into our defensive strategy.
All right, Section 3, your arsenal. We know the bad guys, right? Dissolved oxygen, caustic chemicals, carbonic acid. Now, it's time to build our defenses. And your most powerful weapon, hands down, is a solid, multi-layered water treatment program.
And I want you to think about this strategy like you're defending a fortress. The external treatment, that's your outer wall, your first line of defense. It's all about getting rid of impurities before they can even get inside the boiler. And the internal treatment, well, that's your royal guard inside the walls, actively hunting down and neutralizing any enemy that manages to sneak past.
So for that outer wall, there are two key pieces of gear. First, mechanical deaerators. They use pressure and heat to literally scrub dissolved gases, especially our main enemy, oxygen, out of the water. Then you have dealkalizers. They use ion exchange to specifically grab onto those carbonates and bicarbonates, the building blocks for carbonic acid. Essentially, you're taking away corrosion's ammunition before the fight even starts.
Now for your internal defense, your royal guard, we turn to chemistry. We use chemical oxygen scavengers, something like sodium sulfide, that we add to the water. Their one job is to hunt down and neutralize every last trace of dissolved oxygen. Then, to take care of that carbonic acid problem way out in your condensate wines, we deploy neutralizing amines. These are cool because they actually travel with the steam, offering protection throughout the whole system.
But listen, you have to choose the right tool for the job. Not all amines are the same. As you can see here, which one you use really depends on how long your condensate runs are. You've got one for short runs, one for medium, and another for those really long systems. Picking the right one is absolutely critical to make sure you're getting protection exactly where it's needed.
Okay, let's bring it all home with Section 4, the operator's playbook. Look, having all the best gear and chemicals is great, but it's not enough. You have to execute the game plan. Victory against corrosion comes down to precision, discipline, and skill. This is where you, the operator, come in.
In this quote right here, it just nails it. You can have all the fancy tech in the world, but nothing, and I mean nothing, replaces the eyes, ears, and hands of a skilled operator. It all boils down to proper maintenance, control, and monitoring. That's your ultimate weapon.
The good news is you don't have to make this up as you go. There are proven frameworks out there, like the guidelines in ASME Section V. What does that mean in practice? It means doing your pre-startup checks every time. It means being disciplined about your water treatment and your blowdown schedule. It means regularly testing your safety valves and low water cutoffs. And, maybe the most important thing of all, it means keeping detailed, organized logs of your water tests and chemical treatments. That logbook is your best friend.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Which of these silent threats could be hiding in your system right now? Because constant vigilance really is the key. For more explainers just like this one, designed to help you protect your critical systems, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching.